Okay,
What?
Schell.
What's up? How's it going?
It's great, and I'm really excited to talk with you today,
I'm excited to talk with you too, as always.
as always. What I wanted to talk about, though, for our audience, is your move into becoming a fractional CMO.
Mhm. Great.
Why did you make that decision? Well, first, who are you? Tell us a little bit about Schell and what you do.
I'm Schell Gower. I am a story brand certified guide, and I have owned my own business, marketing business, for going on almost seven, almost 8 years. Um, and I have done everything when it comes to marketing except for social media management, like ads and things. That I have never done that. But I have run the gamut in marketing and am now starting to transition my business from doing the copywriting and the building and the creation to doing more fractional CMO work.
Okay, so tell me about what made you decide to shift into the fractional CMO role.
I think um, so. I've been working with different brands, different types of companies in different um, everything from the people who are just starting out in their business, need a basic website and the messaging and lead magnets and things like that, to multi-million dollar companies who are looking at their marketing sometimes for the first time in a really long time. Like, they've built their business to a point where they know what they're doing is not enough, but they don't know what that is. And one of the things that I think why I've decided to, or why I'm moving into that role, is because I'm naturally curious by nature. And so when I would go in and I would look at companies that were the bigger companies, they may not be, a 5 million or $10 million company, but I'm okay, yes, of course we need to fix your website. Of course we need to do this, but what else is going on there? I love sales. I think sales and marketing is a good component together. And so my curiosity is saying, sure, maybe these things need to be fixed, but what else is going on that's really hindering your business from moving and going to where you want it to go? And that's where when I was doing that naturally, and then I started hearing a lot more about this fractional CMO kind of role that you hear more and more about over the last couple of years. What I found is that that's really where I love to live. I love to listen to the CEO or the owner or the C-suite and say, this is the vision that we have for the company. This is where we want to go. And then looking at, okay, well, where is your marketing now? What are you doing? How are you, you were using half of the companies that I've ever worked with, they're using a bunch of tools. They've picked a smorgasbord of marketing tech tools from, um, HubSpot or email platforms to other management software, Salesforce, whatever. And they're using them, but they don't know how they're not working. And it's mostly because they don't have anybody who's looking at it to go, oh, this is going great. So I think for me, the reason I wanted to shift into that was because that's really where you talk about all the time, like, do something you love and what's your zone of genius. And I find that my curiosity for figuring that stuff out and looking and analyzing analytics helps me be more strategic in the marketing that we do. So we're not just, okay, yeah, we're going to fix the messaging and update the website and we're going to do this. It's like, yeah, those are good things, but why are we doing those things? Does it make sense? So I like to figure that out and then help businesses use that analysis to really build and grow their business. So that's where I would rather do that all day long. I can still write a website, I can still write an email, but there's people who that is their zone of genius. So I would rather use my zone of genius to figure out what we need and how we can fix it.
So you're trying
Now
to
this
tell
is,
me that what business owners think they need is not always what they need?
yeah, I feel that way a lot. I really do. And I
Yeah.
think it's just because here's the thing. Here's what in my experience, and this, I'll just use my experience, but I've worked with a lot of really smart, business savvy business leaders, and they had this idea, they had this thought, they had this vision of what they wanted to create. So they started building their business, and they would pull in a person to, somebody would build their website. Okay, that was great. And then they bring in a staff, or a person on the team, and they might be in charge of customer service, but also, by the way, hey, could you manage our Facebook page? And so they've done these little ad hoc marketing things, and they know they should be doing them. And so they've been doing them. But what ends up happening is sometimes you have people who either are just, that is a part of what they do. And so it's not consistent necessarily. They don't always have a plan for what they're going to do. It's just, oh my goodness, we need to post on social media because we haven't posted in 4 days. What are we going to talk about? And so, but they've been extremely successful. I've worked with companies that are in, the 2, 3, 5, $10 million companies. They're very successful. It's not that they don't know what they should be doing. It's that oftentimes they don't have a real strategy or a plan to do it. And the people that they have on the team are great, but they also don't always know, like, they're dealing with the day-to-day, and there's no one to help them create the bigger vision that they can work towards. And so that's the benefit that I see of coming in, is saying, look, I'm not trying to take anybody's job. If you have a marketing team, I don't want to be I don't want to replace anybody on the team. What I want to do is say, you, owner, have this idea of going from a $3 million business to a $10 million business in the next 5 years. How are you going to get there, other than saying, well, I want to open 3 more stores? Well, okay, but how are we going to do that? And do you have a plan? And if your team that you have is just focused on getting a reel out today and taking pictures and calling customers, that doesn't get you to $10 million and 3 more locations in the next 5 years. And so, and often the business owner doesn't have time to sit down and do that either. They're busy with all the other things. So those are the things that I love to do, because I always tell, and I even tell my friends this, that come to me with a business idea. And I started joking with them. I'm like, don't tell me that you have a business idea if you don't want me to help you get there. Like, if you want to do something, then just know, like, that I'm 100% going to be in your corner. And I'm also going to start with, okay, so you want to do this. So let's backtrack. What do we need? Well, we need this, 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 and this. Like, I will help you get there. And the same thing with the business owner is, if you want to be a $5 million to $10 million business, or you want to add 3 more locations, okay, great. Then let's figure out how to get you there.
Yeah, that's your Enneagram 2 shining through.
Yes, bright and shining star.
Okay, I see where you want to get. Here's how we are going to get there together.
Absolutely, 100%. By the way, when you hire me, I am now, it goes from you and your business to, when we do this is what we will get. I can't help it. It just happens.
That's right. Hey, it's a strength. It's a strength. So when I've heard you talk about this before as well, I heard you touch on it a little bit just a second ago, but you were talking about the marketing people that are in the company today are fighting fires. And sometimes that fire looks like something's come up and needs to be handled. But a lot of times that fire looks like the owner or the CEO putting the next idea on their plate without any filters for, does that lead us to the goal? Tell me more about that.
So I had a client a while back, and he is a visionary. I mean, he is a visionary, and he comes up with these great ideas. And the team was used to just, okay, well, he says, let's do this, so we're going to do it, without a filter of saying, why are we doing it? How does this benefit us? What is the goal and the outcome? And there's times when you just do those things because they're fun. He had a new location for his business, and he wanted, before they broke ground, he wanted to skydive out of an airplane and like record it and land and do this like big thing, which was like awesome, cool, fun. But why? And what's the purpose, and what's the, and so to kind of go back to where the marketing team that is internal sometimes is so used to just what I call reactionary marketing. And that could be the owner comes in with an idea, and so they feel like they have to do it. Or it could be a client or a patient, because I work with a lot of healthcare companies. A patient will have this, and so it's just a reaction. Oh, well, a patient said that we should have a coffee station. Let's put in a coffee station. Oh, a patient said that we should do this, so let's just do this. And what ends up happening in your internal team is they're so used to just knocking out fires that they really don't have time to plan or to look at what is our long-term strategy. Are we actually reaching the goals that have set forth by us as a marketing team or as the owner? And so this is because I'm an independent person and I have people that I work with to help, if you need a website designed, obviously I like to work with Tina on those. But if you need those elements, sure. Yeah. Like I have people that I can pull in to help you do those things. But my biggest thing that I end up doing most of all is just telling the owner, hey, does this get you to your goal? Let's take a timeout. Like, I don't know that this is a great idea and it's fun, but why, and helping the marketing team to also start building their authority as a marketing team, to say, that's a great idea, but why are we doing it? What's the reason behind, and asking those questions so that they're not just a reactionary yes man every time. And that's a marketing problem. That's just, this is a great idea, or I have an idea, somebody has a great idea and they're like, okay, sure, let's do it. Instead of stopping and going, but why? Doesn't make sense. That kind of thing. So
you're giving an entire team permission to have feedback loops and boundaries.
yes,
Sounds like to me.
That's a great way to put it.
But
yeah, I mean, how often is it that we don't do that? And I think, and I say we in loose terms, but as marketers, it's easy to chase the shiny object, because let's be honest, looking at data every day is boring. And putting out another social media tweet is like you get stuck in the mundane. And so sometimes those things are really fun, but oftentimes what ends up happening is the list of things that we need to do as marketers is not short. And just because we sit in our office all day on a computer doesn't mean that we're playing video games, right? Just because we're on social media doesn't mean we're actually on social media. And so I think that's where giving the marketing team permission to say no and to set boundaries, and also to create systems and processes for, hey, how do I take in an idea? So somebody comes to us with an idea, what do we do with that? Where do we put it? So helping them create even systems and processes to be able to table an idea and then say, okay, great, we're going to talk about that on Monday during our, morning stand up, so that we understand, like, hey, this is an idea. What do you guys think? How can we use this fun idea, right, that was brought to us that we want to do, but how can we actually make it work with what our big objective and goal is? So that's a lot of fun.
Yeah. That probably brings a lot of life to the marketing team as well, because when I've been in situations that are similar to some of the things that you've told me about before, the marketing team can feel very frustrated because they don't feel like they ever reach any success. Mm-hmm. By clearly defining a path to success and defining what success looks like, and then measuring everything, like, should we do this or not? Because this is where we're headed. then that can give them some real life and give them some wins in their pockets where they're like, oh, what I'm doing is making a difference. I'm not just an order taker that puts out ads or social media or whatever the item du jour is.
Mhm.
So, have you had any of that kind of feedback from the marketing teams themselves?
Absolutely. I mean, one of the things I like to do if I'm working with a company who has people in the marketing team is I'm part of, I'm not just helping them create a plan and then hold them accountable to that. So great, we're this is the plan, the website's getting launched, or this is the plan, this is, the social media plan for the month. How are we doing? Let's look at the data. But I'm also that to help them, like, tell me what's going on with the team. If I'm talking to the marketing leaders, so maybe it's the marketing director, or they may have, the owner may have said, hey, I want you to be over, here's one or two people that may be over the rest of the marketing team. And what I found in those meetings is we're not just talking about status updates and what did we actually do, but it's, hey, how do we handle this situation? How do we, this is what's going on in the team dynamics, as how do you deal with that? And so that has been fun as well, because it gives me the opportunity to coach and really build up their leadership skills so that they can be more confident, not just leading the team, but also being able to push back. And I really think in the companies that I've worked with and the leadership that I've worked with, I think the reason that marketers become order takers is because they are not confident themselves in being able to push back with either information, whether that's data, whether that's a plan, whether that's with something. So they feel like they're at the mercy of the owner, and the owner feels like, well, because I'm not getting anything from the marketing team, then I have to take control. And so do they want to be in marketing? No, they don't. Do they want to trust their team? Sure, they do. But because we as marketers don't stand up, and it's not stand up like in an argumentative sense, right? Like it's not like, no. But I think when we don't, in order for us to earn a seat at the table and in the leadership team or whatever, we have to show that we know what we're talking about, and we're not just sitting and playing on social media all day, or we're not just sitting and writing a blog post, or we're not just helping the sales team, call back patients if it's a medical facility, that really we are looking at and building a set of data to be able to say, hey, this is what we see going on. This is what our plan is to fix it. And when we do that, when marketing can come to the table and do that, then the C-suite and the leadership team almost takes a sigh of relief, knowing that that's something they don't have to mess with. But until we do, then they're still going to try to take control, because they don't know that that's their baby. Like, this is their baby. And so if you're not going to do it, well, then I'll take care of it and I'll tell you what to do, because guess what? You're not telling me that you can do it. So I've got to do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So it's this self-defeating loop that I've seen happen in companies over and over again. And it sounds to me like what you're saying is, when we stand in authority, from all that we know, our expertise in marketing and the data behind what we're doing, then it helps the CEOs or the owners or other leadership relax into our authority and know that we've got it covered. And so then that becomes a more purpose-driven cycle versus the self-defeating cycle where marketer feels like they're working and that someone doesn't respect them. And then the owners feel like nothing's happening.
Right.
So having boundaries and standing firm in your authority helps both of those things happen, even though that feels like the antithesis of what you would think would happen.
Yeah.
So, so a lot of times you're coming in and working between these two, the marketing and sales team and the ownership or leadership, and you're sort of helping them set some good boundaries and helping have trust and build trust. And so I imagine at some point, there's a lot more activity happening after a certain period of time of working with you because the marketing team gets more comfortable being that authority.
Mm-hmm. And I really want them. I've got a situation with a client right now where I'm in that position of the fractional CMO, and really we're at this position where I'm working with them to set up systems and processes, because their healthcare facility, they have 2 locations, but their vision, or her vision, is to really grow to 5, 6, 7 locations in the next 5 to 10 years. And to do that, what, the age old saying, what got you here won't get you there. And so it's worked. She's got a multi-million-dollar business. She's doing really well. She's got a big staff. It's great. And she's just now beginning to start unpacking what are the systems and the processes that we need to do in order to level up this business, to do the thing. Like she's like, I have a heart to serve people. I want to have multiple locations where they can go and get the same level of service. The same is true about, okay, so then part of that, aside from the business organization aspects of it and the financial aspects of it, is what is the marketing and sales aspect of it. And there's a team member who she's in the marketer, and this is common, which is she was a marketing intern. So she came in as an intern, and we all have been an intern at one point. Like, sure, you do marketing. Yeah, you post on, back in our day, we didn't post on social media. But we would do create ads or copy or do whatever. But then we also were the person that went and got lunch for everybody, or we went and got coffees for everybody, or we ran an errand because we were the intern. Transitioning from an intern to being an employee, a full-time employee, the issue has been that people still see her as an intern. So they're still asking her to do the errand running when she needs to be focused on marketing. Mm-hmm. And so we've had to have these conversations. Like, she's brought it to my attention, because I'm walking into the company and I haven't been with them for maybe a couple months. And so she's like, look, I'm really frustrated because here's the things that I know you need me to do and that I need to be doing in my job. And I can't do those things because I keep getting asked to do, can you go run in this errand? Can you go run out this, this errand? And so the things I know I need to be doing, I can't get done because I'm doing all these other things. So what I get to do is be that safe person to bridge between, because there's also some authority issue, right? I feel like I shouldn't, I'm scared to tell the owner, that I can't do this. And the owner's like, well, and so I just had to have the hard conversation of saying, hey, if you hired this person to do this, then I need them doing this. I need them to do their marketing job. And maybe we should look at investing in an errand runner a couple of hours a day or a couple of hours a week to do this other stuff, because you're wasting her time. And sometimes, and this is not the first time, but the owner knows in their head, you're right. It's just old habits die hard. And so the great thing about my position is, because I'm an external person, I'm just trying to help you fix your business. I'm just trying to help you get to where you want to be. I'm not trying to threaten anyone. I'm just trying to say, hey, here's a liability that you have. And so what do we need to do so that she can do what she needs to be doing? And you have what you need, because you need somebody to, go pick up your dry cleaning and, go grab lunch for everybody. That's great. But who is that person? Because it ends up costing your marketing team when they're doing this other stuff that doesn't make sense to move the business forward. And I think that goes back to any position in an organization. What is their role? And when you take them out of that role, does that move the business forward? And it's okay to do that every once in a while, but if it's a consistent pattern, that's where you start increasing your liabilities.
Yeah. So to me, what I'm hearing there is that they are probably evaluating how much they're spending in marketing based on the fullness of that person's time, even though that person is splitting their time in different things. So they feel like they might not be getting the full ROI on their marketing, although they don't have a full person in that job because they're
Yeah.
splitting them up doing different things. And
Yeah.
so it's easy for you to come in and see that and say something
Yeah.
versus people who have gotten into habits and they're just going to stick with them, or, hey, you're the owner, so what you say is what I do.
Yeah. And I feel like there's a misconception, and I kind of alluded this to earlier, but you know, as marketers, for the most part, there's very few positions in marketing. I'll say this, there's very few positions in marketing where you're not sitting at your desk working at some capacity all day long. I mean, I own my own business, and so I'm talking to people and I'm writing copy. I'm in my lovely beach themed office with my palm tree, my little pelican over here. Um, but I sit here most of the day, unless I go for, a break in the neighborhood. And I post occasionally on a social media for myself or for a client, and I do websites and I will go take pictures, but that is a small piece of what I do during the day. And so what I sense from some companies that I work with is because what they do is tangible. So I can see 25 patients today. I can check out I can sell these many different products. I can do these. But when you look at a marketer who's sitting in their office all day, they're like, well, what did you do all day? All it looked like you did was sit in your office all day. Well, yeah, because that's what we do a lot, you know. So I think part of it too, and that is a beauty when I walk into a company, is I want to know not just the owner or the executive or leadership team, what are their dreams for the year, for the next 3 years, 5 years, but I want to know what they think is working and not working from a marketing and sales standpoint in their company. And then I like to talk with the sales team and the marketing team to go, what is working, what is not working that you think. And what I have found is there's a huge disconnect. And so that's part of what my plan is how can we fix it? How can we fix the disconnect? Whether that's, and how can we help? I also want to help bridge the gap between this is what the leadership wants, needs, and this is what our team does. And how can we collaborate, easy for me to say, how can we collaborate better so that the leadership team can relax and know that it's taken care of, and the marketing team has more authority and control to be able to make better decisions, because oftentimes they're making decisions that they know isn't right, but because somebody told them to, they just do it anyway because they don't want to disappoint the person who told them to do it. So
Yeah. And when you're talking through this a little bit, I think this is helpful for anyone who's working with a marketing team. Even if they don't have a fractional CMO, which you probably need one, but even if you don't have one, there are typically gaps between what you think you're communicating about where you want to go and what your team thinks that they are there to do every day and to accomplish. So a conversation is in order, whether you need an outside party to come in and help you, which I think facilitates that. It just makes it easier and faster to get to the bottom of it and to bridge the gap. But if you don't do that, then you have to take the time, business owner or leader of this company, to have that conversation, even if you're using an outside marketing agency. You're not getting the results that you think that you should be getting. Go back to, what did you ask for? because
Mhm.
typically people are trying to deliver what you've asked for.
Sure.
So when you first had your conversation, what did you ask your marketing team, marketing agency for? And is there a disconnect between where you actually want to go and what they're delivering? And how do you bridge that gap if you're not getting the results you thought you should get?
Absolutely. And things change.
Yeah.
You know, you what you needed a year ago when you first started talking to and, using an agency to help you do things may have changed. Have you communicated that change? And 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 likewise, has the agency provided you with information so that you can make better decisions? And what does that even mean? And so, you know, I'm partial, of course, because I'm at this role, I'm a little partial, but I feel like that often, and not all, so hear me clearly, not all agencies um, are, all agencies are really good at execution. Not all agencies are equipped or desire to dive deep into what your vision, your dream, your goals in and help you create a strategy to get you there. What they see is, well, what do you want to do? And then they turn to, well, these are the resources that I have. So let me help you based on where you want to go. I'll just like, well, we can do this and we can do this and we can do this. And those are all fantastic things. It's great to put up ads on Google and social media. It's great to do a new website and update your SEO. Like these are not bad things. The question that I always go back to is, what is going to help your business? Where's the bleeding, basically? Where's the bleeding? And let's stop the bleeding there first. And then let's help you figure out what you need to move forward before you start employing or hiring people to actually do video and ads and whatever else that you need an agency for. I mean, they're great. I work with several agencies as a liaison between the agency that I work with and the client. And typically that it's never been an issue because I'm just taking that off their plate and going, hey, this is good, but I think we should change it here. Or this doesn't really help us reach our goal and our plan. Our goal is to do this, so we need to do this. And oftentimes the agencies are thrilled to have someone who can give them a little bit more dialed in direction, because what they've gotten used to in the past is just going, yeah, just create some ads for me on social media. Yeah, show up, we'll talk about whatever, and then you put them out there and they're fine. But do they convert? I guess, so that was a little bit tangent, but
It's not, because I saw this meme the other day that was talking about creative marketing agencies and how it would be like someone going into a restaurant and not looking at a menu at all and just saying, I want good food. Okay, well, what kind of food do you want? Like good is the response to that. And then you bring something out and they're like, it has onions.
Mhm.
But you made really good food. And most of the time, that's exactly what marketing agencies are doing. They're making something really good. And all the direction that they've ever been given is that you want something good that brings more traffic to the table, like general guidelines. So having someone like you who understands where the business owner is coming from, the brand that you're working with has a whole history of story behind
Mhm.
you and can give some more general direction because you speak marketing. So
Yeah.
you can be like, oh, really wrong color. What the feeling that we're going for is this. The business owner doesn't know how to talk about that sometimes. So there is this person that would be great to have a lot of times from a creative perspective to say, here's what they want. Here's what I know about them. They hate yellow. Like whatever the thing is, like, please don't use that. And the business owner doesn't have any idea to say that out loud. So it's so helpful to have someone like you as a liaison between the client to interpret when they say, I don't like this. Okay,
Yeah.
what do you not like?
It's funny that you mentioned that meme because my first job out of college, I did marketing for campus dining, of all things. I had 22 accounts in 4 states, and my job was to market the cafeteria and any other food service on campus to get more students to use those services. Which, I mean, cafeteria food, come on. But you would, but also, to answer questions. And so I happened to be at my university was one of the university I graduated from was one of the schools that I worked with. And so some of my friends were like, man, like, why does the food suck? And I'm like, I don't know. And they were like, what do you mean you don't know? I was like, well, like, I can't do anything about the food sucking. Now, if you tell me it's too hot or it's too, like the spaghetti is too cold, or this doesn't have enough like salt and pepper, or this doesn't have any, now I can do something about that. Because I can say, oh, the spaghetti sauce doesn't have any flavor. Okay, well then now I know to say, well, I can go back and say, hey, have we added some oregano? Have we added some basil? Maybe we need to add a little bit more garlic. Now, that wasn't my job as marketing, but using that as an example of saying the same thing is true with marketing. Most business owners are looking at their marketing and going, this is okay, right? The spaghetti is okay, but something's missing and I don't know what it is. And that's an opportunity for me to look at the spaghetti of your marketing and say, maybe we need to add a little, maybe have you considered this? Have you tried that? Let's look at the data. What is the data telling us? Well, we're getting a lot of people coming to the website, but nobody's doing anything when they get there. Why is that? Well, is the speed low? Does it take forever to load? Is your messaging all over the place and nobody really knows what to do? Do you have a way for people to schedule an appointment? What are the things that are keeping them from following through on their decision to come to you? Because if you're getting the traffic, then, and there's no conversion, then we need to, there's a problem number one to solve. And there's certain tools and things that we can do to look at it strategically and go, well, yeah, because you don't have a place for them to call you, or you don't have a place for them to easily schedule. We are now, even my parents, we like to call and talk to people, but most of the time we want to be able to do things just like, I want to push a button. I don't have to talk to anybody, make an order, make an appointment, schedule, whatever. So let's make that easy. So
yeah, it's problem
spaghetti
solving.
tastes better.
Well, it's problem solving and bridging a gap in communication so that you can actually solve the problem, which most of the time is half the battle, right?
And if you think, how many analogies can we use in one? But I'll give another one.
A lot
of analogies. I love analogies. But
it's those metaphors for me.
Well, you can't see the forest for the trees, is an analogy. And it's like, you're in the day-to-day. The marketing team is in the day-to-day. The business owner is in the day-to-day. They're putting out the fires every day. So how often do you have somebody who's looking at the overall picture and helping you figure out how to get through the forest? Because you can only see the trees right in front of you, and they're keeping you from like, okay, well, I got to cut this tree down. I got to move this over. I mean, that's your day-to-day. And so having that outside, I think the thing that I love about it, one is, what I love about being a fractional CMO is that there's certain patterns that I have seen with companies of just like, these are the traditional things, but because I love to drill down and like ask questions and figure things out, is there's a curiosity when I'm working with them to uncover what is holding you back. I mean, I'm an Enneagram too, so how can I help? Right. But also I've been a coach since I was in high school, coaching teams, coaching people. So I naturally start to break down things to figure out, how can I teach that better? How can I solve this problem? I see this. What's the culprit? What's the cause? And then how can we address it? And because I'm an outside person, I have the luxury, sometimes more than most, to I'm coming in there as a business almost agnostic. Like, I don't really care. It's not that I'm trying to be mean, but it's like, I don't really care who's on the team that's supposed to be doing what. What I care about is, this is what you're trying to do. Is it working? If it's not working, then how can we fix it? And because I'm an outside person, I don't have the privilege of knowing some of the behind the scene things that can keep businesses from moving forward because of whatever reason. So
Yeah, it's always good to get an outside perspective. Things become a lot more clear, usually, I think.
yes, usually. But also,
Okay, so
like
oh, sorry, go ahead.
no, we talk about this when we talk about our own businesses, and we're talking to each other about what each of us do. And it's just that it's that other set of eyes that looks at something in a different way and goes, oh, is this what you're trying to say? And you're like, yes, why couldn't I say that?
Yeah, it's the curse of knowledge. We talk about it a lot, but it's funny because our group, we always know the answer for the other person, and it's just harder to get there for yourself.
Just does.
Yeah.
So that's why it's good to have somebody who can help.
Always. Okay, so listen, I have 8 rapid fire questions to wrap this up.
Okay.
So I'm going to ask you the question, and then
I will do my best to keep it under a minute answer.
5 seconds. I'm just kidding. No, I'll go and we'll just do it for the next 10 minutes until we run out of time.
Okay.
So to keep up with and be ready for what's next in marketing, think about your business and how everything's always changing. What are you reading? Who do you listen to? What are you watching? And who do you follow?
I follow Ann Handley, and on LinkedIn, I follow a lot of people on marketing on LinkedIn. That's really my LinkedIn and Twitter. I'm a big Twitter head, so I love to be on Twitter. This Old Marketing podcast, CMO podcast are 2 podcasts that I listen to consistently just to keep up to date what's going on. I take courses, just online continuing education learning to continue to grow and stay on top of what is going on in the industry. And I have too many books to count at the moment, but I'm an avid reader. And so I just feel like in this industry as a marketer, there is always something to learn and grow. And so you should be seeking those out and growing.
Yeah. And it's also good to have a network, because sometimes you will tell me about resources and I tell you, and
yeah,
so help.
Yeah, a lot of networking with almost came out wrong. Networking with other marketers is a great resource as well.
Okay, what do you think most marketing business owners or marketing managers wish they could change about building websites for their clients?
Say that again.
What do you think that most marketing business owners or marketing managers wish they could change about building websites for their clients?
I'm going to say, I think most people who are building websites for clients wish is that they gained more trust with the owner or the person that they're building it with. So there's 2 things. One is, if we've done our job right in the QA section of building the website, then I want you to trust me that I know what I'm doing. And so if I create copy and I lay this out a certain way, I need you to trust that I did it for a reason. If you don't understand, that's great. That's fine. Let's talk through it. But I need you to trust that I'm doing it this way for a reason. So trust. I think the other thing is, please, as a business owner, if you think that you are going to build a website, get your marketing team or a marketing professional involved first before you hire the company that will build your website. I have been pulled in to help with website rebuilds after they've hired a company. And what ends up happening is the build goes longer than expected because they went after price instead. I know, shocker. They went after being price conscious, and then what ends up happening is it's a nightmare to get it deployed. I have one client, I'm not even kidding you. We submitted all the pages to their website a year ago. It is still not live, and it's been a nightmare. And they paid way up front, and now they can't get their website built, or it's taking forever. So it's all because you knew you needed to update your website, but you didn't talk to your marketing team first, or a marketing professional first. So what you end up with is a website that's fine, or that works, or maybe it doesn't. And you've already invested the money. And so when someone like me or another marketing professional comes in to help, the first recommendation might be, we need to rebuild a website because this is not good. And so that would be my other is call us first before.
Yeah. A plan, strategy first, strategy always first.
Always first. Strategy always first.
Yeah. Okay. What is the single biggest decision you feel like has led to your success as a marketing business owner?
Not being afraid to learn. Following where the trail takes me. So I think my success has been, well, twofold. One is networking and just spending time getting to know other marketing professionals, gleaning off of their experience, their knowledge, asking them questions. I've built relationships with people who now send me referrals that it's out of their wheelhouse or they don't want to mess with, which has been a huge blessing. But also I would say, we all have things we all have things we like to do. But as a marketer in this day and age, we have to, I feel like, either go deep in, I build websites and I build specific type, like for you, right? Like I build websites. And so I'm not just going to know how to use this software to build a website, but I'm going to go really, really deep. How can I optimize it? What are the other tools? What's the latest tools that I can help my team? Because there's new things coming out all the time. And so being able to go deep is where you really benefit. For someone like me, it's staying on top of trends and changes because I deal with different levels of clients. And as a fractional CMO, I need to be on top of, hey, is TikTok going to get banned? What happened with Twitter? Twitter's, changing. How does that affect my company? What email marketing is working well? And so either building connections with people who are expert in that field so I can bring them in when needed, but having a general knowledge so that when I'm talking to an owner, they are like, oh, she knows what I'm talking about. Like I do, because I do a lot of learning.
Yeah. So I'll just call you and be like, Schell's TikTok still all right?
It is a number one platform for a reason.
Because I hate that stuff. I do.
But I'll still send you TikToks.
I know. And I never have opened TikTok in my life. I've only played in the browser, like what has been sent to me.
Which is fine.
Which, I'm just old.
That's okay. No, you're not.
Okay, what do you think more marketers should try when it comes to marketing their own businesses? TikTok? Please say no. Please say no.
No, not TikTok. Here's what I would say. I wish, it's really funny. This is going to sound silly, but I wish that more marketers took more time, and I'm speaking to myself, to do their own marketing. Because we are so busy marketing for clients that when it comes to doing it for ourselves, we're so tired, or our creative energy is spent on our clients, so that when it comes time to do our own stuff, we have zero either creative energy or just energy in general. So I think we, and by we, I mean I really mean we, meaning me, should spend more time doing even the simplest things. I don't think, and I tell this to my clients, but I would tell it to a marketer as well, as it would be great if we could be on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn and XYZ platform here and write a blog post and. My encouragement to a marketer is pick one and just do it and do it well. And if
Yeah,
we can do that, that would be great.
I was breaking out in hives as you were naming all these things.
Yeah.
Okay, so low-hanging fruit, what things do you think would give people who own a marketing business or direct a marketing team quick wins in building the business today?
Quick wins in building their business today.
Yeah, when you go into a place, then what's low-hanging fruit that almost always works?
Find out what's working and what's not working from their perspective, from your team perspective.
So kind of a diagnostic.
A diagnostic. And the reason being is because we're so busy doing the work that I think often those of us just overlook things just to get the job done. And so taking a natural even a quarterly break to say, hey guys, so based on what we're doing, like what's working? What do you think is working? What is not working? And consistently getting that feedback loop, shortening the feedback loop. I would even argue that maybe on at least a monthly basis, if you're leading a team on the monthly, you should have hey, tell me how you're feeling this month. Like how are things going? Just in your career, in your job. Because it's easier to fix problems when they're just now starting to fester than waiting a quarter, or all of a sudden this person just like gets really angry and quits, or you have to fire them. And it's like, well, if we'd have really talked about this 3 months ago, we could have fixed this. So to me, that's a quick win, because what you end up with is, and I'll use my client that I'm working with now. Marketing person came to me yesterday and said, this is a problem. And if she hadn't come to me and said, this is a problem, then I can't fix it. And now that I can address it, one of two things has happened. Either it's going to fix and she's going to be a happier employee. And guess what? She's going to do her job better and she's going to have more time to do her job. So then what happens? She sticks around. But if she never brings it up, or we never have that conversation, in 2 months, she might be, you know what? I'm done. Like, I can't do this anymore. And we're all going like, do what? Because we had no clue. And that is a win to me, because what we do with our teams and what we do as marketing professionals of checking in, even if you're a solopreneur, what's working, what's not working. I mean, that's part of how I got to being a fractional CMO is like, what's working and what's not working. Hey, what's working is I really love diving deep into a company. What's not working, if I have to write a website, or not a website, if I have to write an email drip sequence, or if I have to write a blog post, I can do those things. It is so painful. That is not working. It is not the best use of my time. And so that's where, whether you're a solopreneur, whether you're leading a team, is shortening those feedback loops so you can make faster adjustments.
I like that a lot. Okay. So any shout outs for vendors that you love working with in the marketing industry?
I love working with you. But in honesty, I do love working with you, because I know your websites are going to be great. I know they're going to be optimized. I don't have to question whether or not they're going to be ready to go. You get how we work. And so it's really easy you'll do things that I won't even think about. Even just from an SEO analysis, I use you guys often for that, because SEO shouldn't cost you $1 million, and you should know what you're doing with it if you're going to spend the money. So I love working with you. I love working with Jeff Felton. He does email welcome sequences and email drip sequences. I've used him a lot for creating those for clients, and they've had a really good success. So I love working with Jeff. I love working with Julia at Stratos Creative. She does a really good job with clients on social media management and social media ads, which I do not do. That is not my thing. And so I love sending those. I love working with her because she also understands the direction that I want to go in. And it's just really easy to work together with her. I love working with Casey. Furist. I can never say her last name correctly. So
First. It's just first. Like first.
Casey First. I always want to add it like Germany, like Furist. But I love working with her because she is able to take, for a lot of times she's working with me on this, but also just with other clients of just pulling things together, and creating visuals and graphics and other, even just working with her in general to bounce off ideas has been great. And I've got a slew of copywriters, but I love working with Alex. She's just really good. Alex Shower. And then Brad Bishop, who helps me sometimes with stats and digging into the statistics of websites and giving me a little bit deeper understanding of what I'm looking at so I can make better business decisions for clients.
Yeah, that's awesome. You know what? I love working with Casey too, because she can just so quickly get to the heart of the matter. It'll take me 50 words to say something, and she's like, here are the 5 words.
I'm like, how did you do that?
I know. And so I do love that about her. And I know she can then take that and put it into print designs and downloadables and all that jazz to help people as well. So yeah, awesome. Okay. If people want to follow up with you about working with you as their fractional CMO, how should they connect with you?
They can connect with me on LinkedIn, probably the easiest. I'm there. I'm on Twitter, following sports a lot on Twitter. I'm a big sports junkie, so I don't tweet a lot, but I do. I am on there. So if you send me a DM through there, or you can reach out on my website, clearmark.io, which will be newly updated here soon, hopefully. So
from today's conversation, what I really take away from it is that there is a better way for business owners and marketing people to work together. And sometimes you need an outside person to come in, help you evaluate that and your tools and your goals, so that you can get on the same page, communicate well about that, and that you can reach success together, because psychologically we're all looking for wins. And as marketing people can start getting more wins, then they will be more eager to get to more wins for you the next time, business owner. So if you can bridge that gap of communication, then everyone's going to be pulling in the same direction and you're going to have great success, and a fractional CMO can help you get there.
Yay.
All right. Thanks so much for being here with me today, Schell. It's always great to talk to you.
It was a pleasure. We always have fun together. So it was fun to be on the not podcast.
It's on the YouTubes.
On the YouTubes with you.
It's always fun just to be with you.
I know. Likewise.